Welcome to the 1-Star Weak Foot Show, FIFA 21 edition, starring your host, 1-Star Weak Foot, and our review specialist, 1-Star Weak Foot. Bow! Good evening and welcome to the 1-Star Weak Foot Show, your one-stop shop for player reviews. I'm going to be your host today, 1-Star Weak Foot, and it makes me feel stupendous to see you back on the channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So, as you can tell by the thumbnail, we have one of the most meta double reviews we have ever brought to you on this channel. We're reviewing two of the best cards that have come out in the last week. The first card is going to be 88 rated, second and form Marcus Rashford. And if you've ever used Marcus Rashford in this game, you're already going to know he's a meta card. The other card is going to be a FIFA legend, 87 rated headliners Ben Yedder. So guys, let us look at their cards. The first one's going to be 88 rated second and form Marcus Rashford. It's his third special card of the year, and he just keeps on getting better. As the power creep happens, this Marcus Rashford card definitely seems to keep up. He's 6'1". He has high medium work rates. He's right-footed, and he has the 5-star skills with the 4-star weak foot. As you guys see here, I've played him 6 games in division rivals, and he got 3 goals and 0 assists. Before we go any further, if you're enjoying the content, if you want more content like this, do me a solid and hit the like button down below. And if you're new to the channel, as always, don't be shy. Please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all you guys at home for watching this video. So, when you look at this Rashford card, I mean, at this point, he's looking like a poor man's Ronaldo. He has everything you want in an attacker with the 5-star skills, the 88 dribbling, the pace is definitely there, and his shooting stats are at the point now where he's gonna feel very clinical. He has 88 finishing with 95 shot power. I maxed out his finishing with the finisher chem style, and if you do want a recommendation for a chem style, I do think that's the best one. Passing wise, he also has, I mean, some decent stats. 88 vision, 87 short passing. These are not stats you really expect on a card like Rashford, but he has them. And physically, you already know he's going to be a beast. He has more strength, more aggression than Cristiano Ronaldo. He has more stamina than your favorite midfielder, and his jumping and heading accuracy are pretty good as well. The other card we're going to be talking about here is Ben Yedder. It seems like he's MIA this year, because in the last couple of FIFAs, he's been one of the most meta, most overused cards. And this year, with the meta slightly changing, we don't really see many Ben Yedders nowadays, but this card might be changing our tunes, all right? He's 5'7". He has high work rates. He's right-footed with the 4-star skills and the 5-star weak foot, as you guys see here. I played him 6 games, and he got 4 goals and 2 assists. And when you look at the card, honestly, he has a lot of very important traits. He has the outside the foot shot trait. He has the 5-star weak foot. Of course, he has a good dribbling, 4-star skills. His shooting stats are insane. So imagine you have a card here with a really good dribbling, with a 92 finishing and the 5-star weak foot. You already know he's going to be unstoppable inside the box. His passing stats are very good as well. So if you're looking for a cam, maybe he might be an option here. Physically, he's not that great. The 72 stamina, as always with this card, is going to be a weakness. His jumping and heading accuracy are surprisingly decent, but his strength and aggression are nothing to write home about either. So, without further ado, we're going to jump into the gameplay. I'm going to take you over to our review specialist in the studios, 1-Star Weak Foot. Take it away. Thanks, 1-Star. So, as you guys know, we have a double review today, and the first card is going to be Marcus Rashford. He is selling for about 950K on the PS4 market right now. Is he worth it? I would have to say I'm a little iffy on it, honestly. While this card is very good, and while he does bring a lot to the table, I don't think he's much better than his other versions. We're going to break down the stats. First, we're going to talk about his pace. He has 94 pace, and you already know he's going to be the king of pace. Getting him behind is a dream with him. He feels extremely explosive coming out of the skill moves, and overall, this guy's pace is a 9.75 out of 10. If you like pace, then you like Rashford. Next thing we're going to talk about is his shooting, and really, this is the biggest question for me here, because you use his 85, his 86, his 87. They could all finish at a decent rate, but they're not the most clinical players on this game. And I do think this Rashford card is very similar in that regard. I mean, his finishing is very good, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't cross the realm into the clinical finishers on this game. He's not quite a Ronaldo, and for him to justify the price, I need him to finish closer to Ronaldo. His attack positioning, though, was very good. He made very good runs, and his pace with his attack positioning put together made him a very hard card to mark. His shot power meant that his finishing felt pretty good. When he did hit it on target, the goalkeeper did have a hard time getting to it. Overall, this guy's shooting is an 8.5 out of 10. Is it good enough for striker? I would say yes. But is he going to be the most clinical player in the world? I would say no. Next, we'll talk about his passing, and honestly, I thought he was pretty decent at this part of the game. He didn't particularly stand out as a playmaker, but at the same time, he has 88 vision, 87 short passing, 88 curve. So if you want to use him to distract your opponent's defenders and then use him to bring other players into the game, he's capable of doing that as well. His crossing was very decent, and overall, I have to give his passing an 8 out of 10. Is it good enough for cam? I would say if you like fast cams that could dribble with some physical, I don't think he will be a bad option at the cam position. Next thing we're going to talk about here is his dribbling, and if you've ever used any Rashford, you already know he's one of the most explosive dribblers on this game. He has the 5-star skills, and when he comes out of certain skill moves, he's very explosive. So that means if you like the bridge skill move, which I know a lot of you guys at home do, and if you like the bridge skill move, this Rashford card is going to beat any defender you can think of on this game with it. I mean, just catch him at the right time, and he explodes out of the bridge. It's actually broken. His close control is very good on this card, but what I will say is that the 85 card, as far as dribbling goes, is about 90% as good as this card. This card is an improvement, definitely, and in certain areas I did notice him being more sticky than his not inform. Then his 86, but is it really a major upgrade? I would say no, it's a minor upgrade. Overall, I have to give his dribbling though a 9 out of 10. He's very, very good, and he's very explosive on the ball. Finally, we'll be talking about his physical, and honestly, this is what makes Marcus Rashford such a dangerous card. Not only does he have the dribbling with the 5-star skills and the rapid pace, he has some physical to him. He has 80 strength, 77 aggression. This allows him to really body defenders when they're trying to tackle him. It allows him to shield, and if he's in behind, all you gotta do is tap L2. He's gonna knock that player off his feet. His 91 stamina means he lasts all game. And overall, this guy's physical is an 8.5 out of 10. Alright guys, so what's the final verdict on this card? I think what you see with Marcus Rashford is what you get. You get a card that has 5-star skills, that's extremely fast, that's very physical, that could dribble with the best of them, and that could finish very reliably. What you don't get is the most clinical finisher in the world. So if you're somebody that doesn't get that many opportunities in the game, and you need your players to finish every single chance, you might be better off getting somebody like Mbappe or somebody like Ronaldo. But if you want somebody that can create his own chances, create a multitude of chances just by his dribbling, his pace, and his physicality, I think this Rashford card might be for you. I do think he's a decent value with 900k. I think he's one of the best EPL attackers on this game. But at the same time, the other versions, if you don't have the coins, are good enough for this game. Next, we'll talk about 87 Ben Yedder. He is selling for 1 million coins on the PS4 market. Is he worth it? I do think he's a little overpriced, but if he does get an inform or two, which is what you're paying for, I think it's going to be a massive, massive card. We're going to break down the stats. First, we'll talk about his pace. He has 87 pace, and I think this is part of the reason why people don't use Ben Yedder this year. He doesn't really quite have that breakaway pace on his non-inform, and while this card does feel faster and he does feel a little more explosive, the same rings true, all right? If you come up against a Varane, if you come up against somebody even like Zakaria, you're going to have a hard time breaking away from them. You might be able to create the initial separation with the 89 acceleration, but staying in behind will be very difficult no matter what chem style you use. And overall, I gotta give this guy's pace an 8.5 out of 10. He's not a get in behind player. Sure, he can do it from time to time, but that's not his thing. Next, we'll talk about shooting, and this is where he really shined. First, we'll talk about his 94 attack positioning, and oh my god. If you set him on balanced, if you set him on false 9 like I did, the amount of runs he'll make and the placement and the timing of his runs are very, very nice. His finishing is insanely clinical. In comparison to Rashford, he's much better in the box. He can shoot on either foot, and he's reliable even outside the box as well. Overall, this guy's finishing is, or his shooting is, a 9.5 out of 10. If you need a clinical finisher, if you need somebody to finish that tight chance in foot champs, this guy's gonna do it. Next thing we're going to talk about is his passing, and honestly, I do think it felt better than the stats suggest. He only has 82 passing, but in game it did feel more like 86, 87. I would classify him as a playmaker. I did play him as a false 9 role, and his vision and short passing definitely was good for that. His long passing is only 70, but honestly, I did not notice it being an issue in game at all. He is a very creative player, and overall, I have to give his passing an 8 out of 10. Is he the most creative player in the world? I would say not quite, but at the same time, he does have very good passing, and he will be able to execute most passes very effectively. Next, we'll talk about his dribbling, and this is the one stat where he really shines. He's not quite like Rashford in that he won't be exploding out of the skill moves, but that's okay because his L1 and R1 dribbling is incredibly tight. It's incredibly responsive. Even his left stick dribbling, if the gameplay is smooth, is good enough. I mean, he could change directions at the top of a dime. He has a very low center of gravity, and if you're very creative with the way you L1 and R1 dribble and you don't rely on skill moves, you're really gonna enjoy this Ben Yedder card. Overall, this guy's dribbling is a 9.5 out of 10. If you like tiny players that can operate in tight spaces, Ben Yedder is going to be your guy. Finally, we're going to talk about his physical, and there is nothing to talk about here. He is not strong at all. He gets bullied very easily. That's not what you buy him for. His stamina is poor. You're probably going to need a sub for him. His heading accuracy and jumping is not too bad though, but overall, I do have to give his physical a 6 out of 10. It's not up to par. It's definitely a weakness. So he is a player for a certain kind of guy. Alright guys, so what's the final verdict on Ben Yedder? And I do think he's an amazing card in this game. But is he worth 1 million as it stands right now? I would say no. Is he gonna be worth 1 million if he gets it in form too? I would say maybe. All right, the things that he's missing on this card is a little bit more stamina, a little bit more pace, a little bit more explosiveness, but the things he does excel at, he does very well. I mean, his finishing is bar none some of the best finishing I've used on this game. His playmaking ability is very nice, and his close control is absolutely insane. And overall, I have to give him a 9 out of 10. I do think he's a very good card. He's a very meta card. If you like to left stick dribble or L1 R1 dribble, I do think you're really gonna enjoy this card. All right guys, so that's gonna be my double review for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next episode, but until then,